Well, today I've decided to do something a little bit different. We're going to go fishing, but it's below freezing. There's a big wind chill. It's a lovely day. I've got my fishing tackle out, but I've put it back. I'm going to have a walk instead. So I thought I'd bring you along with me and just show you my local footpaths around where I live. It's quite a nice area. So we've got Wentworth Dams. There's 5 of them, goes all the way to the valley. We've got follies around here, we've got the mausoleum you can see in the distance. So we'll have a walk, and I don't know if you're interested, but we'll give it a go, see what happens. See if I can educate you a little bit, maybe not. So this is the first of the dam, or the most local dam to me, which is Mill Dam. It's a very popular fishing spot. Regular carp out, it's £20 here. There are 2 other dams, well there are 5 dams in total, but there's 3 larger dams and 2 small dams at the top. But the next 2 up are carp syndicate lakes. Very, very big carp in some of them. This is more of a overall coarse fishery, but it still tends to be prioritised for carp. There is a match venue which is further down there, about middle of the picture there on the far bank, which is I think that's every Monday they have a match on there. They have about I don't know, maybe 10 up to probably 16 fishing. It's quite popular. So then we have a family of swans on here that have successfully bred. We've got 5 youngsters. There were 6, but one hit the wires. There's some power wires at the top, and unfortunately one of the youngsters hit one of them, which ended up with the warden taking that away. Unfortunately that didn't survive. So you can see the swans there. See, yeah, 5 youngsters, 2 parents. Yeah, it's a lovely spot, and I spend a hell of a lot of time around here. Been a bit of rain, quite a lot of rain in fact. So that's a stream that goes all the way down to Park Gate, which is an industrial area, well, was an industrial area. Now it's more of a retail park, and then goes into the River Don. We're going to continue up by the side of them 2 cars, and you'll see them. There's a footpath goes up there, I think it's a bridle way. So we'll continue along our way. Now this is the little path that goes up through there. It's like it's more like a hedgerow with a little path through the middle. You can actually walk down the side of the fields as well, but I prefer to be in here. Normally have my binoculars out, seeing nuthatch and plenty of birds in this little bit. Haven't seen any redwings yet. And only some field fare that were quite some distance away. So although it's quite cold today, a lot of the winter birds, well, they're probably here, I've probably just not been in the right place. But yes, this winds its way about a quarter of a mile, maybe a bit less, to the top of this hill, and then we come to a road we've got to cross on a bad bend. We'll be very careful, but yeah, I'll show you some of the views from this path from the edge of the field. So it's not ideal because I'm looking into the sun, but you can see in the distance there Woodhouse Church, and then that's my village where I live, with the church, St Mary's Church. So that's Mill Dam, or what we call the first dam. Over in the distance you can make out the start of the moors, the other side of the M1 motorway. Lots of shooting goes on around here, lots of pheasant rearing, and all these woods have got release pens in and release the pheasants. You probably hear shooting as I'm videoing. So we're nearly at the top of the path. A bit muddy around here, but it's frozen, so it's no problem. That's the mausoleum. I don't know if you can see that, it's in the wood. Probably can't see it. Maybe make out the dome. Partridge going over. That was built from memory for the, I think it was the second Marquis, I think, Fitzwilliam, and it was built in their memory, and they call it the mausoleum. 1750s possibly. If you want exact dates, you need to go on a YouTube video of this area, which would be, to come up with Wentworth Follies or Wentworth Fitzwilliam Estate. There's lots of follies on here. I think there's 6, and you can walk between them all. We might see if we can get up to one of them today, but that is when I walk past regularly. There's a footpath goes just below the mausoleum. So yeah, we'll get a bit further. So we've just crossed the busy road. You can just about see the cars going past. That's one of the main roads to, well, it's not a main road, but it's a road to Barnes, via Wath. It goes to Barnsley from Rotherham. So we've crossed that road, and we're now going to walk. We're going to continue with it on this path, and we're going to walk up by the side of that pile on there. There's an old walkway that was made for the pitmen, for the pit, which is, I'll talk about in a second. So again, we're struggling with the sun being in the wrong direction, but in that hollow, just about behind the pylon, was the stubbing pit, which is a very old pit from this area, and back in the 1980s I used to have a couple of whippet dogs, running dogs, and I used to get rabbits from around here, and my lads were just about brought up on rabbit pie. But there is a story about this pit, the stubbing pit, which I'll tell you in a minute when we get a little bit further on. So we've got sheep. I normally have cattle in here, well, beef stock in this field. He's got his electric fence on. That's where we're about to walk now, through that little bit of a wood, and then we're going to go through that wood and come out on a footpath which goes between them two pylons up to the it's an old reservoir that's been made into a residence, you can see in the distance, and then we're going to work his way on through. Eventually, maybe, we're going to get to the Hoover stand, which you can just about make out there. So that's what we're going to do, if my bad legs hold out. So we're going now from the rough path into this little bit of woodland. Well, it's just a big hedge, and this is a bit I want to talk to you about. The pit, stubbing pit, used to be down there, and that was the old railway line to it. Back along before the NCB, pits were owned privately, and this, can you see the cobbles? The guy who owned it specified that if any miner went on this path, they would get the sack. It was built specifically for the owner, so he didn't get his boots mucky. Good old days, eh? Yeah, that's how the tale goes. I was told somebody had a next door neighbour, an old gent, a few years ago that died, that actually helped make the cobble footpath. So this tree's come down this last couple of weeks. I've had some bad storms, so there is a footpath I can assure you somewhere under here. Yeah, a few footpaths spread around. There's one along the bottom there, one cuts across the other side, so there's quite a few dog walkers normally about. So this goes up, skirts the edge of the field to, as I mentioned, the residence that's being built that was an old reservoir. So I'll put you back on in a second when we get there. Yeah, so this is the property I was talking about. It used to be an old reservoir, and the guy's making it into, he was doing some tidying up, look of it, making it into a residence. And there you can see the mausoleum. The mausoleum just stuck up slightly. Right over there you can maybe see the Keppel's column, which is like a column stuck up. We're a long way away, so you can't really make it out, and that's where we've come from. The village, which kind of adjoins onto Rotherham, really. Magic, lovely place. Well, we just crossed back over the road we crossed earlier, the main Wath Ponder into Barnsley Road, and we're going to make our way down this, I think it is still a bridleway here, to the Hoover stand, which you can just about make in the distance. Nice path this. Looks a little bit boggy, but in general it's not normally boggy, and as I say, we've been frozen. shouldn't be a problem. So we're going through that, cut that edge of that trim trees there, then we're going to go up the little lane, past the farm, and I don't know if you can make it out, but there's a observatory, astronomical observatory. We walk past that and then we get to the Uber stand. If you can see what it says on the wall, it says Greasbrough and Swinton Astronomical Society, Hoover Observatory even. I'd like to have a look in there. Must be the highest point for somewhere around here. This little story. 1980 until around about 87, 88, I worked on the local council as a garbologist or a refuse collector or a dustbin man, and this was my round. All these farms and villages around here, we used to empty the bins, and this little spot here was where we used to park up on one particular day and have a cup of tea and sandwiches, and that seems like it is a lifetime away. So in the summer you can actually come and go up Hoover stand. I understand there's 150 steps. I have been up. In fact, I'll tell you the story about when I went up originally, but I've been up with a family, and they've got a bit of a tradition. My lad and his family, they bring the kids up every year. Saying that, I don't think they have since COVID. I think it was shut for a couple of years. It might even still be shut. I've not heard it's even been open since COVID. So these are bell pits. These are what they used to dig coal out with originally before they started mining with tunnels. Yeah, so I'm going to tell you a story about this. This was derelict back when back 1980. 1981, also 1982, all completely derelict, shut up, all boarded up, and me and a couple of friends came up here, and there was an old rope somebody had obviously been in, and that window there, that was no window in it, and there was a rope to the point after the bit where the sign is, the information bit, and there was nails knocked in, and incredibly and I'm scared of heights. I think it was because they went up and I was just too proud not to go up, so I went up there, and inside it's a spiral staircase. It was supposed to be a staircase, but there's that much pigeon muck on it, it was just a slope, and that was a scary time. and when one of the lads came down, he burnt all his hands on the rope. So, as it says, this pyramid building was erected by His Majesty, most dutiful subject, Thomas Marquis of Rockingham, in great respect to the preserver of our religion, laws and liberties, King George II, who by the blessing of God have subdued a most unnatural rebellion, a Jacobite rebellion, I think, 1748. Yeah, so if you want to go up here, if you look on the, you should be able to find it on the internet. It's the estate, Fitzwilliam Estate, that runs the tours. Wentworth Fitzwilliam Estate. So all these round here are bell pits, all old mining workings. And there you can see industrial Sheffield, the smoke coming, or steam. Yeah, it's an amazing place. If anybody lives local and or even coming from abroad and fancies having a look around here, it's an incredibly historic area. There's I think there's a, well it's I don't think it is a novel, I think it's based on truth. I think it's called the Black Diamonds, and I think it's a top seller now. It sold a lot of copies, and it's all the history of this area and Wentworth Woodhouse, the Fitzwilliam seat, which we'll show you later on if we get that far, which is the largest house, or the largest frontage in Europe, as far as I know. So down there is Wather-upon-Dearne, which leads you to Barnsley. That's Leabrook village. And there's Wentworth Church. There's a noisy aeroplane. So we're going to go down here onto what they call Street Lane, and then we're going to work our way back via Wentworth. Well, maybe we won't go through Wentworth, we'll probably just go down to what we call the park, Wentworth Park, past their big house. We'll show you that and then back to where we started off. I don't know if you can see that, there's a nice little pond down there. I was told at one time there was a lot of crucian carp in it. I don't know whether it's still the case. I think it's private, you're not allowed to go down there, it's privately owned. So that's where we're going, over the stile. Yeah, that's it. Private fishing, no day tickets. That's the other lane that comes down the bottom of the wood. I'm going to go down there. This is Street Lane. Some nice little properties on here, little cottages. We used to empty the bins all them years ago. And them bins were proper bins, not wheels on, proper steel bins, a foot of solid ash in the bottom that have been in there years, probably 10 years. You used to fill them with ashes, and as you were going round they'd be pouring buckets of water in, putting them out, and they must have weighed 200 pounds, must have been. Sometimes it took 2 hours to lift them. I don't wonder I've got a bad back, bad knees, bad shoulders. Won't swap it for the world though. Experience, magic. Lovely little properties. This guy here on the left came down, well, it must be a couple of years ago now, and it was a nice day, and there's a little train. He's got like a little narrow gauge railway in his garden, or he did have. I don't know if you can still see the track or if he might have moved. It's a few years ago. See if we can see the track. No, can't see anything. Oh yeah, I can. You see the track there? See, he's got a track going right round. And you can see it under the wall. It's not very good light because the sun's in the wrong place again. Yeah, he's got a narrow gauge railway running through his garden. Well, talking about people sat in front of the telly, I'd just like to explain what's been happening for the regular subscribers and regular watchers of what I've produced. I did have an accident. It really damaged my both knees, but my left hand tendons around my knees, and I haven't been able to really fish. I haven't really been able to walk, to be honest, very well. I've been in a lot of pain. Part of the reasons for bringing the camera on this walk was to try to take me attention off the aching and pulling in my left knee, so that's why I'm doing it. So I apologise again for not producing much, but hopefully I'm going to get back into it in the next couple of months or so, definitely for the spring. So this is another folly. I was hoping there was an information sheet. There used to be an information board about this. Plus there's a story about this as well. So this is called the Needle's Eye. And the story behind this is one of the ancestors of one of the marquises or one of the old guys, one of the hunts, they used to drive obviously carriages, and he said to one of his friends he could drive his carriage through the eye of a needle, and they had a wager, and because of that he built the needle, and sure enough he drove his carriage through the eye of the needle. And there was an information board which looks like it's been moved, which tells you the year and who it was. If you look on YouTube, as I said, there's loads of YouTube videos about this area. Wentworth Estate, Earl Fitzwilliam. So we're so close to the road, I thought we'll go and have a look. And there is a ride that goes right down. There is a point, it's called the Doric Temple, I think, and you can see all the follies from that one point. Yeah, it's a shame the information sheet's gone, but it is a interesting story, and he won his bet, and I'd like to see someone drive a coach and horses through that. This is Wentworth Woodhouse. Originally, I understand there was a hunting lodge here back in medieval times, a wooden house, which is I think where it gets its name from, Wentworth Woodhouse. I'm not sure about that, but if you check it up on YouTube or Wikipedia or somewhere, you'll be able to find out. So it's all been done out. There was a massive scaffold on the roof for probably about 18 months, and they've redone everything. Cost a lot of money, but they got a big grant for it, and I think it came out of your tax money. Yeah, so probably worth doing, because it's certainly a stunning place. As I said, I think there's 365 rooms, unless I'm getting mixed up with somewhere else, or windows or something. But it's the largest frontage in Europe, which takes some doing when you look at all the other stately homes we've got in this country. Yeah, so this is all surrounded by Deer Park, There's the deer. I can zoom in a little bit. I don't know if you can see them or not. There's a herd of deer there. There's mainly reds. A few roe deer get mixed in with them. There's 2 stags over there. You're not able to see them, I don't think. You might just be able to see them. Back of that, in front of that blue car, above that, sorry, that green car now. And there's the rubber stand. There's the mausoleum that we talked about earlier. And over there somewhere you'll be able to see Keppel's Column. Yep, behind that tree, in between them trees there, you can just about see it. Maybe. Anyway, it's there. So we're going to walk back down through the deer park now, back to the dam where we started off. So let you have another look. Anybody who understands Latin, Mea Gloria Fides, God knows. I must have been off school that day. Shooting party, heard them earlier. The green transport, I would imagine, is for the beaters. So this is all the parkland around Wentworth, Woodhouse. There's the mausoleum again, and there in the trees, I don't know if you can make it out, is the Doric Lodge. Sorry, Doric Temple. Doric Lodge is on the other side, which is a property on one of the roads. I understand you can see all the follies if you stand in that temple there. You might just see it coming into view now. We're a bit farther away, but you're not really supposed to go off the road, so that's the Doric Temple. And then this is the drive down to Wentworth Dams, which is where we're going to finish. Been a nice walk. So that one there is what we call the second dam, which is the dog kennel dam. Keppel's Column again, and the third dam, which is, I don't know if that's from Morley. And then the fourth and fifth you can just about make out in the distance. Well guys, we're coming towards the end of the walk now. We're just coming back through the wood at the bottom between what we call the first and second dam, which is the dog kennel and the mill dam. I had a mental blank then. So got to be a bit careful here, there's a lot of ice on this road. I'd like to film in some more places, but there's just been too many people about. So I'll show you first dam where we set off. So we set off at the bottom of that dam and we walked up that edge side. So that's your circular walk. Been okay, enjoyed it. We'll see you next time. Hopefully fishing next time.